Hello, 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 everyone. Let me give everyone a good old ham hi. Hope everyone's doing good today. It is me, your host, Zarataro here, and welcome to Yo, You Like That, the talk show where I bring on guests of the content creating variety, and we talk about something that they enjoy, something that is super amazing and great and fantastic, and it must be shared with the world, with you, the viewer, with people that even don't know. You should share it with them anyway. They must know. It is all must become positive in this world. That is my goal, and I'm glad to have y'all along for the ride. We have a super awesome guest with us here today. Let's go ahead and bring them in. Once I can do the thing correctly. Ba 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 ba. We have Dark Fonuki Adara. Adara, hello.
Hello! Thank you for having me. Hi,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Nap went perfectly fine, and I'm awake and ready to go.
Awesome. Well, for those who are uninitiated, please introduce yourself.
Alrighty. Well, as our favorite ham here says, I am Dark Fanukia Dara, a Fox Tanuki hybrid Mobian PNG slash VTuber, just having fun on Twitch, like all of you are, most likely. Gaming, chilling, and otherwise just finding a way to kill time in a most positive way.
I like it. I like it. It is great. And we have an even more fantastic, super awesome, great. I'm just so excited about what we're going to be talking about today. Let's go ahead and bring it up. We're going to be talking about comic books. No, just not comic books, Spider-Man comic books.
Arguably one of the most important characters in all of comic books. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. Go ahead,
Yes,
don't
well,
at me.
yes. The Spooder Man. Oh, man. All right. Now, this is going to be crazy, but there might be someone out there. Adara, what is a Spider-Man with a hyphen?
Okay, so a Spider-Man with the hyphen is a very popular comic book character from specifically the Marvel universe, who it was originally just a high school dude, kind of a nerd outcast, whatever have you, the stereotypical nerd character, who by chance of fate was bitten by an experimental radioactive spider and gifted amazing abilities, emphasis on amazing Spider-Man. He can stick to
That's where they get it.
walls. You're right, I never thought about that. But yeah, he sticks to walls. He can, in some universes, make his own webs from his wrist, but for the most part it is just a little fluid that he makes or whatever. But he has this special sixth sense for danger, proportional strength of a spider, so he's ridiculously strong, durable, reflexive, all that good stuff. Ooh, I see that you chose Edge of Time for the video. Very good choice.
Yes.
Edge of
It,
Time is
it's a
arguably one
fun
of my
game.
favorites.
It's a good time. So um, yeah. Uh, sorry, my brain's just overwhelmed with excitement. I just love Spider-Man comics so much. They were the second comic books I ever read as a kid, and also the second one I bought by myself. The first was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah,
The
definitely.
first one I bought of Sonic was issue 13, but it first had Knuckles, and then the Spider-Man one that I bought was part one of the trial of Peter Parker. So it was kind of like smack dab in the middle of the Clone
Ooh.
Saga.
Yeah, that was a really good time for comics. As far as specifically Spider-Man, the
Yeah.
clone stuff, ooh, a lot of decisive
No,
stuff going on.
like I just love Ben Riley and Kane. I'm just such big fans. A lot of people are like, "Ew, clones." I'm like, "No, Clone Saga is great. Y'all don't understand. Those two characters are awesome."
Right? I mean, if anything, Spider-Man was like one of the characters that pioneered the quote-unquote copy characters. Like you had the Clone Saga Spider-Man stuff, I believe, before you had like the Owl Man stuff for DC with Batman.
Yeah, I think so. The original Clone Saga stuff, I want to say was around my brain. One Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 149. I forget what year around that was, but way, way back in the day.
Uh, Spider-Man 117 through 125, and then a few others as well. At least that's what Google says. Clone Saga
Yeah,
Omnibus Volume 117 through 125,
it was the Jackal.
394.
The Jackal, I tell you, it was the Jackal.
I love how because I have Google pulled up because shocker, I have not the best of memories. Those who watch me know this, but I have the tab pulled up on the side for all my information that I don't remember, and lo and behold, people are already talking about how controversial it was as well, which is not surprising because, like we just said, it was a hit or miss with some people.
That's okay.
Yeah.
If it's anything about comics, people are going to like what they like, hate what they hate, and also hate what they like. No, wait.
You're,
Like what they hate? Wait, no.
the funny thing about
There's
it is
no
it works.
winning.
The funny thing about it is it works in all senses. You like what you like, you hate what you hate, you hate what you like, and you like what you hate. As a Sonic fan, that's ingrained in my DNA.
That's a mood. So, how did you first like discover? Like, did you first like see the comics first, or was it like the cartoon, the movies? Like, how was your introduction into the Spider-Man and then comic world?
So when it comes to me, the 30-year-old Fonuki that I am, there's been three mainstays that's been throughout my entire life that I, for the life of me, cannot tell you how I first got into them or learned of them. All I know is that they've been cornerstones of who I am. That is Spider-Man, Sonic, and Mountain Dew. I don't know how they mix in
Mm.
with each other, but I'm pretty sure it's something to do with media as far as like movies or games and stuff. I think that it may have been the original Sam Raimi movies that I probably watched when I was younger, and then eventually I was like, "Ooh, they have games based on this. Ooh, they have books based on this. Oh, this is based
Yeah.
off of a game. Okay, just
Hey, that was a good time for Spider-Man. Those
oh yeah,
Sam Raimi movies. Sam Raimi definitely wanted to stick to like the original like Amazing Fantasy kind of vibe that Spider-Man had, a
that
very
is without
classic
saying.
sense.
But he's also the one that as far as like his movies goes, was the one that brought in the idea of Spider-Man having his fluid from his wrist, as opposed to like what you see with the two later Spider-Man movies, where they're just really smart and either make it themselves or they order it, like Amazon,
And
I
they
guess.
order it online via
Yeah, you can find anything online.
Emma Oscorp.
Oscorp Prime,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it,
if you order in bulk, you get a discount.
right? Anonymous mailing so that people don't find out who you are.
Wow, this a lot of this web is going to this like random like PO box.
I always wondered how they got away with that in that the two movies that was in between the Spider-Man, the one with Andrew Garfield. I was always wondering if he didn't make it himself and he just ordered it. How did people not figure that out? Like, how did the company not be like, "Hey, wait a minute, this stuff that's like sticking to the walls and the ceilings and everywhere across New York looks familiar."
I want to say there was a point in the comics where the police were like really active in trying to bring down Spider-Man. You know, which oh hey, how many times did that happen?
Yeah,
And
right.
they found one of his like web shooters, and like the who's the autopsy person was like, yeah, no, we figured out how to like make the web shooters a while ago, but we just can't figure out the exact formula without it either like not dissolving or catching fire or exploding in the gauntlet.
Right? And I think in like later comics they even like had it explained that Peter himself, being the super smart scientist person he is, eventually, oh, excuse me, sorry, got some Mountain Dew breath on my side, but he eventually figured out how to have it be like where it's super strong but dissolves in like an hour or 2 hours maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Um,
specific web.
yeah, so sometimes they describe it as like because he was bitten by the spider, the formula came to his head. But there's also just the idea that he's just a brilliant like chemist, like kid smart,
Well,
kid
yeah,
smart.
everyone knows that if you're bitten by a radioactive animal, that naturally you learn the chemical formula for how to create their stuff in a synthetic manner, because that's clearly how it works.
Otherwise, it comes out your butt.
Like that one thing with the man spider,
Yeah,
which
or that
we don't talk about the man
Venture
spider.
Brother, or that Venture Brothers Spider-Man copycat.
Oh god, the Venture Brothers.
What was he? The brown recluse. He just shoots it out of his butt. He's got a little like pocket hole for his stinger,
You talk
or
about
his
Spider-Man copies, and I immediately thought of that superhero movie with Drake Bale as the Dragonfly.
Yeah. Well, isn't it just called like superhero movie?
Yeah, it's literally just superhero movie. With
Ah,
a little fun fact about that is later on in like one of the Spider-Man cartoon shows, Drake Bale actually did voice Peter Parker slash Spider-Man.
That is awesome.
So it's like it's poetic almost that
It goes full circle.
he was the off brand and then he earned his right to be the actual brand.
Man, that superhero movie, just like basic copies, like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1, like almost to a T. It just throws in all the other kind of hero stuff.
Yeah, but I mean that's what all those movie things are. It's just
The era of the parody. I
yeah,
enjoy me a scary movie 1 and 2, but the movies that are brought in afterwards, woof, woof.
I agree. Like oof, we 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 don't talk about the stuff after that.
We don't need Meet the Spartans.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Just
man.
another
So,
B
what are some of the
movie.
aspects of like the comic books that you find like kind of like superior to the other mediums?
So one thing that's special about comic books that is arguably superior to many other things is just how the art is just, for lack of better words, it pops. Like a bunch of stuff that you see in things nowadays, where like in video games, for example, the word just like pop up whenever you do stuff or you hear things. A good example is if you ever played NSR, No Straight Roads.
I can't say I have actually.
It's a musical fighter thing to a degree, but anyways,
Oh,
it has like it's really good and great music. I recommend it, but it has times where words pop up on the screen and stuff, either whenever you do stuff or when things around you pop off. Like comic books are, since they're they're read only stuff, you can't actually hear anything that's happening in them. The idea of having things pop around you and have the environment kind of react to you,
hmm.
I'm not good with words on this, so you have to
No, no,
forgive
no,
me
no,
on
no.
that.
You're actually you're spelling it out really well.
So how
Like
they
the pages really come to life.
yeah, like how they find a way to speak, like how they oh god, words. They find a way to bring to your ears or have you imagine stuff that's going on around it in the scenes without actually making the sounds. Like the spider, when he's swinging his webs or whatever, they'll have the little text over there that says "thwip," and you just imagine that's what it sounds like.
You can hear it in your head without even knowing what it really sounds like.
It's
They're really good about that.
it's like those meme gifs where it's like you can now hear this gif or something. It's just like nails on a chalkboard or
DuckTales,
something.
woo. No, okay, no, that one. It's
Gifs that you can hear is basically the way that I would describe it. Just instead of a gif, it's a still image.
nice. No, that's definitely like one thing that the Spider-Man comics do really well is like portray like the action and the sound like really well within the panels.
JoJo, that's what I was thinking of.
Cause
Sorry to sorry
very
to,
JoJo.
sorry to interrupt. But the
Doom,
JoJo
doom, 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 doom.
the JoJo comics was able to in the anime portray what was going on in the comics through the audio cues and everything. And I was for the life of me, I could not remember the name JoJo, which is awful because I'm such a JoJo bro, Joe bro, whatever. Um,
JoJo is a lot of fun.
right?
Oh man, I imagine Iraqi was inspired by a lot of Spider-Man stuff when it came to Stone Ocean.
I have no doubts. I've seen an art piece that has Spider-Man drawn in Stone Ocean style. If I can find it on my phone, I'll send it to you on Discord.
Thank you. I need that now.
But
Oh
didn't
man.
mean to
All
interrupt
right.
you, but you
Now,
carry on.
with oh good. Okay. I was gonna say is all right. Now, when it comes to Spider-Man, he's got probably not only like the coolest roster of like team ups and heroes and stuff, but he also has, in my opinion, the best rogues gallery out of any superhero, like bar none. Maybe Batman would be like a close second, but what are some of your favorite characters whenever it comes to Spider-Man comics? Heroes, villains, like break it down for me. What are some of your faves?
So when it comes to my favorites, as far as like characters in general, or do you mean concepts? Because there's a lot to go on for both of them.
Uh, do a concept and then do a character.
Okay. So my favorite ideas of characters as far as concepts goes are like those that were not born into the greatness that they eventually become, but it's more or less just they've had hardships before and they've learned to take this gift that they've been given and be able to well use it responsibly, use it properly, or at the very least use it for good. Because I can think of some examples in
Okay.
like other comics, like DC stuff specifically, where it's not necessarily used good, but it helps people kind of
Yeah.
sometimes.
I was gonna say it's also gonna be like a lot of like the characters in like the Spider-Man series because usually an accident or a thing happens and someone is given the power. Like no one, very
And
few
that's
people in Spider-Man are like automatically like superpowered beings.
I mean that's just like comic books in general. Where it's like something happens, you have the power now. You can think of the Flash from DC for that example.
That's true.
And he was just chilling by a shelf full of seemingly randomly assembled chemicals, as you do, and then lightning just
As you
hit.
do. Just seemingly random chemicals. Just chilling there.
Yeah, I mean, he was just trying to research who it was that offed his mom, and next thing you know, just lightning happened to get in the way of him and his chemicals. He meticulously stood those chemicals up.
Yeah, just so lightning could strike it through the window, right? Not
Uh,
crazy?
it's kind of hit or miss depending on the universe. Some say the window on the side, some say like a skylight that was on his home or something. Just
Okay. That's
nature
like
is nature had
that's
his
like
way.
with Batman. A little thing is some people say like he saw like a silhouette of the bat in the window. Some say the bat crashed through his window when he got the idea for Batman.
Some say that he fell into a well that was happened to be there that he didn't know about, despite the fact that he grew up there, and bats flew
Yeah.
around him and stuff. Just a seemingly random chance of fate that just happened to happen to them. But I mean, really, that's
Good
all any
times.
comic characters are, just chance of fate to a degree.
All right, now come on. Give me some of your favorite characters. Villains, side characters.
Uh,
Uh
so when it comes to my favorite characters, I'm going to stick to Marvel for the most part because if we go into DC as well, I'm going to talk your head off.
yeah. Well, just Spider-Man. Just Spider-Man, Spider-Man adjacent, Spider-Man
Just
team up.
just Marvel in general. And I'm going to stick to one franchise for the sake of time on your part. But one character that I very much love is in the later Spider-Man issues, Agent Venom, Eddie Brock. That
Oh,
gets
Eddie
the
Brock with it.
yeah,
Okay.
because originally Venom, which I still love Venom as a character, mind you, was a entity that was an alien parasite from another world that crashed onto the planet and then grafted onto Spider-Man, copied his abilities as far as like the spider sense and the webs and everything. It basically just pulled a artist stealing thing, like how like artists that take characters and then just recolor them and then bam, this is my OC now. Venom is
Yeah.
basically that, just a lot more steroids involved. And
Steroids and just like the monstrous mouth. Oh man,
oh
I
yeah,
love like McFarlane and early era Venom so much, and that's
exactly.
why I agree that Anti Venom is a return to that. Like wholeheartedly, Anti Venom scares me in its design.
Yeah.
It
When
is
I first
frightening
played
as
that
shit.
the game that you have on right now, when I first played that, which was on the Xbox 360 like years ago, back whenever Xbox had more than just one, they when I first saw Anti-Venom, the glowing orangish red eyes, the black silhouetted face, and the just oh god, everything about it is just, especially the cinematics, like what you see right now. The cinematics of Anti-Venom coming at you. But yeah, Agent Venom is a huge one that I really like. There was Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters of all time. But then again, I've always been a magic buff, so the idea of
Did you know that Spider-Man and Strange are created by the same Steve Ditko?
by the same what?
By the same author artist, Steve Ditko.
Oh yes, yes I did. That's one.
Okay,
That's one
well,
reason that I
the,
like
the,
him so
the
much
viewers might not
because
know,
they.
but yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's one reason that I like it so much. Just the fact that they were able to capture that. No, I don't want to say nobility because if there's one thing that Doctor Strange is not, he's not the most noble of characters, but he develops into that through hardship. So like the self-sacrifice that he has and everything, obviously the magic stuff because I'm a magic buff. Anytime that a game comes up that gives you the option of magic or melee, I'm gonna choose magic, spell slinging like crazy, all that good stuff. Just all around, I love the Doctor Strange. Even the movies
it,
recently, despite the
it
controversy some of them hit.
oh, really? I thought they were pretty good, but I mean, yeah, but comic fan's gonna comic fan, so I hear you. That's, yeah, no, oh
Modern
man,
Marvel's gonna
Doctor
modern
Strange
Marvel.
is also a lot of fun. One thing I really liked about the Straczynski era which is I forget 2001 to 2007,
Hmm.
is that he introduces Doctor Strange a lot into it because he tried to like kind of like mystic up a bit of Spider-Man's like origin. The whole Web of Life thing kind of started with that.
Yeah, like
Uh,
like the Madam Web stuff going into the more way that shows just how important Spider-Man is in his respective
yeah,
universe.
it was also the introduction of Morlun, which I love. Morlun as like one of the newer villains that have been introduced. Morlun scares the living shit out of me. That's until
And
they
he
introduced his
really,
family, and then it became stupid.
yeah. But then again, that's for most any characters nowadays. Like you look at the origins for a bunch of characters back then, like Carnage and stuff, and how they are, like how
Carnage
they're.
was really cool until there was like a bajillion symbiotes.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's,
if I remember right, all those symbiotes are like spawns of Venom. So you have like, I had a list of them in my head, and then it's gone until
there's
we start talking about
Riot,
it.
Agony, Shriek, Riot, Agony, Shriek, Lasher, and Razor.
I think
I want to
so.
say are the five.
I know that with the exception of Riot, pretty much all of them actually graphed onto Deadpool at one point, and his multiple personalities, his multiples, like his schizophrenia stuff, is able to harness and control all of them independently as one.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a really fun arc because he
if you
fights
want to,
Carnage
if you
with
want to
that,
talk
and
about
it's just so
terrifying, my
silly.
God, Deadpool already himself.
Recently in the Deadpool comics, Deadpool has a symbiote dog.
Of course he does. It's
Of course he does, just because.
at this point, if you tell me anything about Deadpool that sounds unrealistic or ridiculous, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, of course he does.
Oh man, I won't lie, I'm a huge fan of Carnage because I played the Maximum Carnage game on the SNES back in the day, and I actually got pretty good at it.
My
So I was like
introduction to
really into
Carnage
like,
was actually from the Spider-Man game on PC that had like Doc Ock and Carnage merged to one as like Monster Ock.
yeah, that game is so good. Oh, that game is so good. That game is like so much like Spider-Man feeling. Like,
That's probably
you
like
know, they
the
were definitely
earliest
limited by
hit.
the technology,
Oh yeah,
which is why they have, you know, like the fog for the depth of field, and you can't really like you can web swing into like the infinite sky, which is fun.
yeah. The way that they got around some of the stuff that was limited in their time is a lot like the Silent Hill games, where there's like the fog you can't see the rendering past. It's like quote unquote, it's just there because of reasons. I think that it was like some
Yeah,
sort of like chemical that was out or like something. I don't remember.
yeah. Doc Ock released a gas that was bad.
He had too much Taco Bell.
Too much Taco Bell. That that Taco Bell Baja Blast combo just shake it up a lot and just woof.
Just Baja Blast in general does that to you. Let's be real.
Oh man. Yep. Oh, I love that game so much. Like I originally played that game on the 64, and you don't get the cutscenes with the 64 version. You have to.
Yeah.
It's just like these, just like still images, and it looks so bad. But the
Do you,
PlayStation One and Dreamcast ones,
do you, on
yo.
the 64, remind me, do you still get the option to put in like cheat codes for different costumes and stuff?
Yep. Yep. You can get 2099 Iron, Ben Riley symbiote suit. You can get the suit from Spider-Man Unlimited, that Fox show where they go to
Yeah,
the furry planet.
I remember that. That had the stealth option.
Yeah, it was like little it was nano machines mixed with what is Mr. Fantastic's like material trait, unstable molecules or whatever, something like that.
I mean, most things could just be classified as unstable molecules, really.
Yeah, science.
It's,
Oh
it's
man,
just science mumbo jumbo, like the square root of pi and the the
imaginary
circumference of a
numbers.
spoon or something.
I love it. I love it all. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that shit so much. I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah, Straczynski put Doctor Strange in a lot of the books,
Don't feel bad about getting distracted. I've just been sitting here staring at
and it was
2099
really cool
slamming into
because
stuff.
it's also when Doctor Strange started to be a lot less Vincent Price and a lot more like jokey and stuff.
Back whenever they actually where they dared to do the unthinkable and give their ridiculously powerful characters personality,
Yeah,
and it worked.
it was good. You'd be surprised how much like having like a funny like doctor like character is. Like Patch Adams was right.
Right? I mean, Doctor Strange has always been that charismatic charismatic the word?
Charismatic. You were close.
Yeah,
Charismatic.
I forgot to type the S in my head. Sorry about that. But yeah, he's always
That's right.
been
At
that.
least you didn't go like charismatic.
I'm gonna pretend that I know what that is, but oh, I get it. French. Yeah, I see it. Oh, it's a charismatique.
Sounds fancy.
I don't even know where I was going on that, so we could just go on from where you were saying.
Yeah. So, uh, we talked about how like the game had a whole bunch of like different costumes. What is like some of your favorite costumes?
Oh my goodness, the costumes. I really love the big time uniforms, the ones that's solid black that has the colored neon highlights on the
Yeah,
body.
the soundproof suit. Oh, I
Yes,
love that one too.
the soundproof big time costumes is awesome. The original 2099, like you saw in the beginning of this video.
Yeah, the blue and red.
No,
Have you seen the like Iron Man one, the Mark II 2099, where it's like white and red and
that's
and
actually what I
black?
was. That's actually what I was going to say. It was another one of my favorites. I come across that one
It's pretty cool. It's pretty.
in the Sony Spider-Man game. The
Oh yeah, Marvel Spider-Man. Yes.
yeah, I can't say
So,
Sony anymore.
Sony's Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, that one. But there was so many really good costumes that I remember either reading about or just seeing on like special covers and stuff that was in
Yeah,
that game.
I'm a huge fan of the Spider-Man armor Mark III, which was used in the storyline Ends of the Earth, where Doc Ock was gonna like fry the planet.
Right? Speaking of Doc
And
Ock,
so
the
he
Superior Spider
so he had
outfit
this.
was really good too. The black and red one.
Okay, all right. I think Superior Spider-Man is some of the most fun that like I think Spider-Man has been fun to read in like a long time.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, that's because it's essentially just what if we made Spider-Man a bit edgier and gave him a voice in his head to fight against the whole time.
And then they get rid of the voice so fast. Like it's not even like I think 7 or 8 issues till they're like, oh well, we'll just fix that, and then it just like gets.
Well, to be fair, there was also complaints and controversy over getting rid of Peter Parker too, because for
Oh
those that don't
yeah.
know,
It
the
look for
Superior Spider-Man.
anyone
Yeah, go ahead.
anyone that didn't think Peter Parker was going to come back to life. I have a bridge to sell you on the moon.
Careful now. There's Final Fantasy people that literally teleport to the moon on the regular, so they'll buy into
Yeah,
it.
that's how I got there to scout it out. I rode my lunar whale.
Fair point. Fair point. Those that are kind of curious on what we mean by Doc Ock and Spider-Man, though, there was a series of comics called The Superior Spider-Man where Doc Ock switched brains from his slowly unaliving body into Spider-Man's, and Peter Parker's conscience was stuck inside of disabled old Doc Ock that eventually was going bye bye. So the
Yeah,
entire
like
series, for
Peter
the most
Parker
part,
died in Doctor Octopus's body, and Doctor Octopus was Peter Parker for like a good few years in the Spider-Man comics, and it was so much fun.
and yet somehow Spider-Man's conscience lived on in his head, like kind of almost Deadpool-ish as far as like the voices in his head, just a bit more good and moral as opposed to Deadpool's not so good moral.
Yeah, you can't get rid of all of the good things
Well, yeah,
because then what would have been a point of him actually like transferring the memories over? That was the part that got him.
exactly.
Like
So,
you gotta leave something in there.
yeah, because I mean, otherwise he wouldn't know how to use the abilities to their fullest. So, in the end, his reasoning for being the spect the or the in the end, his reasoning for cheating the system and just learning the abilities right off the bat eventually doomed him.
But it was also a selfless end too. Like he realized that he just wasn't gonna be smart or good enough to be able to stop Norman Osborn.
Right? But I mean, at the same time, it's
So
also like, oh, it turns out that I'm not going to be as good as the original, even though I have the original's body. Who would have guessed?
who would have guessed? A lot of experience in life kind of goes into that.
I'm just
You
immediately
just
reminded
can't.
of Dragon Ball Z with the Ginyu guy that like switched bodies. And was
Oh
like,
God.
I can't use this body to the fullest. I don't know why.
You don't know any of my techniques like Kamehameha
Man,
or the
what?
Kaioken.
Wait,
What?
what? God,
Oh man.
BBZA, I
You know,
love it.
it made me so mad, right? They do all this like cool extra stuff and they bring back Doc And they make him the Superior Spider-Man again, which I thought was really cool because you could have Peter and Doc Ock being like separate Spider-Man,
right?
and like it had this like cool like dichotomy, and also he was like a West Coast Spider-Man, which I thought is funny because the West Coast is usually a joke for heroes because of the West Coast Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. We
And then
don't talk
what do
about the
they
West
do?
Coast
They
Avengers.
freaking Mephisto it away. I get so tired of Spider-Man like arcs and stories and development and stuff that just gets Mephistoed away.
Well, to be fair, there's a bunch of stuff that just gets plot armored away. I mean, that's the dichotomy in comics. You have all these amazing emphasis on amazing stories that go out through the different characters and stuff, but then at some point you have to reset the universe for the sake of one reason or another, because who knows why really?
Yeah, but
Like how many times
I,
have you
that,
had
that
people
that's
put
all.
in
That's
stuff?
also the thing is like Doctor Octopus is an iconic villain. You have to have a Doctor Octopus so you can continue to sell him as a character and make storylines as him as a character.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
I get it, but it was just so fun. It was so fun having a Spider-Man that's not good at being a good guy.
It was unique on having someone that has all of the skill and experience as far as the the actual physicality of it, but the mental and morality stuff that they were still working on was interesting because you were able to
It
do
is.
more other
It's
than just the
so
early stuff.
fun.
Like
It's
on the
so good
early
to
stuff,
actually
you
like
can
kind of
get,
like dig into that. Like I love Peter Parker, don't get me wrong, but
oh yeah,
like especially lately, I feel like we've just been spinning in circles in regards to like him just developing as a person. I don't feel like there's really like much that Peter can grow ever.
well, to be fair, that's why in this whole conversation specifically, whenever we're talking about comics and stuff, I'm specifically meaning like the older comics, not the more modern stuff and everything, because the idea of telling good stories that actually impact people and all that good stuff has just gone away. Comics have just, they're not like what they used to be. I remember.
There are a lot that aren't well. They're definitely not like they used to be. That is for sure. There was a different
Mhm.
style back then. Especially nowadays, comics have to kind of like sell themselves to a more mainstream audience as well.
for
Because
a
you
for a
gotta
modern
market off the shows and the
audience.
movies. Um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I my favorite era was like the clone era back in the day, but I also love like the marriage arc, like after like Peter, Mary Jane got married, like the whole like betrayal or return of like Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin,
Oh yeah,
uh,
the
Peter's
Hobgoblin and the later stuff.
parents coming back to life, Venom becoming a good guy, like that was such a good era.
There's
You
been
had
a
the whole
lot of
like
stuff.
pre You had the whole Hobgoblin era. There's like a whole era of Spider-Man where like Hobgoblin was like the villain off and on, and you never knew who he was. No one could figure out who the Hobgoblin was. It was like the biggest mystery for freaking years. It was crazy.
Right? Like, I mean, there was a lot of times where they were so good at making the mystery just that, a mystery that keeps you engaged and made you want to figure out who it was or what their motivations were and stuff, so that whenever you actually did finally figure it out or they finally showed you, you just mind blown gif right there on the spot.
Yeah, yeah, a good before and after. Like before, like the Hobgoblin is a good example. A
Hmm.
bad example is Kindred, the one of the recent Spider-Man villains who was basically kind of just used as a reset for all of the brand new day Mephisto magic
Right?
stuff.
Like yeah, like a good example for the stuff that's like, God, I'm trying to think. A good example of the stuff that was brought in then that's not so good now was the introduction to new Spider-Man. Like obviously,
Ooh.
like during the comic, like during the clone stuff, you talk about the Ben Rileys and
Yeah, they would always just show like the guy in the brown jacket kind of wandering around. They would show the ring with the high school.
hmm and then in the
Uh,
moderns, the more recent stuff, you have things like the Spider Boy that apparently was this
Spider
side.
Boy, hi.
Yeah,
I've been here the whole time.
yeah, exactly. Like
I
just
promise.
like they had they used to have a way to actually take the time and build up a reveal as opposed to just shoehorning something in and just having us expositioned all over the screen, or in this case the pages and stuff.
Oh man, the early teasing of Venom, just like the few times Spider-Man would just like lose balance, or like someone would just like try and push him in front of a train,
right?
and then it's like, oh,
Early
there's no
Venom was
one
great.
there. What's going on? My spider sense didn't go off. Yeah, it's not gonna, bro. It ain't gonna.
Venom is like one of those, well, was one of those perfect antithesis where his spider sense actually did not work with the thing that
I
he
know
relied
it
on the
made him such
most.
like a crazy villain, and he was just so obsessive. It was like the whole like power and responsibility. No, no, no. It's just revenge and just like gaslighting himself, and just he
It's
was
like
so crazy. Old
think about
Venom
the
was so crazy. If you
responsibility.
go back and read like the old like Venom miniseries when he lived under California, like
Yeah.
Venom is a psychopath. He's just a psychopath.
Oh yeah. That there's no if and or buts about it. The early Venom was just pure. Not to be punny here, but early Venom is just pure carnage.
Yeah, yes, he was.
And
Oh man.
then later he got a personality, and then Carnage became Carnage.
Oh man, and then Carnage. Carnage has gone through so much like retcon and rewrite, and uh,
I think my favorite
I, I
iteration.
I I could do a whole like probably like 2 hour long like YouTube essay on the history of Carnage in the comics because holy crap.
I can't tell you how many times I've considered doing stuff just that kind of stuff, going over, like picking my brain over my thoughts and my thoughts and opinions on a bunch of different stuff that was done in comics and media in general with Spider-Man specifically. And the only reason why I
Right?
didn't was just because I don't think that I'd be able to have something clear and cohesive enough to actually warrant the views.
You just gotta write it down and then have someone read it and then rewrite it like 5 more times. that's that's the
And
only way I've been able to write anything coherent ever in my life.
that's my problem. I don't
Um,
have all that.
also, my problem would be the graphics in the background. Like you have to draw a lot of lines whenever you're trying to show like comics stuff on YouTube. You know, a lot of it you can just like take away the word bubbles, like
Hmm.
wipe them out. But sometimes that's still not enough. They'll still try and get you, and I don't need no copyright stuff on this ham's shoulder.
I don't blame you in the slightest. I do not at all.
Oh man.
Keep
All right. Well,
copyrights
we talked
away
about
from the ham
we
ham.
talked about comics. We talked about Spider-Man. What about Spider-Men and Spider-Women and Spider-Girls and Spider-Boys? What about a Spider-Verse of Spider people?
So the Spider Verse is another one of those things where you love it or you hate it. You either love the idea of there being so many different colorful creations and so many different concepts, like the spider, like literally the Spider Verse movie, where you have the Spider Ham as a joking character, but you also have like the Spider Man Noir, which has always been a thing, but is just
Well,
much
yeah, no,
more.
that's great. Like Spider-Ham, like the thing I loved about Spider-Verse is that it didn't like add. Well, okay, they did add like a whole bunch of like extra ones because like Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider now like started as that like just like one just for a Spider-Verse event, and then she just took off because of course she did. Um,
That's how they got a lot of those characters. They just pitched them in like a what if thing, and then people
Yeah, like
they
they a
saw how
lot
they
of them for like
reacted.
old What If comics.
Hmm.
Peter Porker used to be like in the editor comics back in the old like Web of Spider-Man days. I
Right?
remember a Peter Porker comic on it was like Web of Spider-Man like 35 or something. It was the one where Spider Hulk was the thing. Like Spider-Man was like infused with gamma stuff, and he basically like smashed puny things.
I think that's one of the things where I actually don't remember. Then again, that doesn't
Like
surprise me.
like like it is wild. And then they brought that back, but then they added the spider like Spiider with like the anime Spider Girls.
Yeah, like then
In
there
the
were
comics, it's a lot more Evangelion. I kind of like that design a bit better, but it's cute in the movies.
yeah. I mean, the movie did a pretty good way of doing it. How they were able to be stealthy and stuff with such a huge walking around diva mech is beyond me. But hey, more power
It
to you.
is a diva mech. Oh man.
But
Yeah, no, it started off so crazy just being just this like little or this arc where it's like, oh hey, Morlun, the cool great new modern villain. Well, there's like five of them, so beat them. Well, we'll just grab every Spider-Man to help.
basically, yeah. I mean, they even had
And
a
now it's
mobile game
turned.
that was like a of the like God, I can't remember what the
Oh, I
mobile
remember
game
that
was.
the Endless Runner, right?
Yes, the one where
I
that had
played
like the
I
multiverse
played
and
an
stuff.
unhealthy amount of that at the start. I won't lie.
Same. Oh my God.
Oh man.
I had so many of those like really. high tier legendary characters from
Yeah, well,
just
you needed to. The power creep on that game was disgusting. Like I got to the point where I had like purple max level stuff, and I couldn't go any further. There's just nowhere else to go.
like at one point I played that so much where at at that point I was just running for cardio. There was nothing else for me to be running for. I just was running from my responsibilities.
Just running, just run, run, run. Oh man,
It's like
I
hey, you
remember
say
that
run in
so
the
well.
background,
Yeah, it goes well with it.
basically. But I mean, anything
Oh.
Spider-Man goes good with that. That's just who he is, though.
What's some of
I'm
your
surprised how
favorite,
well.
like kind of like new Spider-Man like introduced in all the Spider-Verses?
Hmm, this is a tough one because you have to tread carefully on this one. So I'm not going to talk negative on any of the Spider-Man just because, despite how some of the concepts are, a lot of people will be up in arms about it. All 8 of them. So I think that I'm going to say that my favorite Spider-Man is 2099 and Noir.
That's fine. Those are good ones.
Like they're two extremes of their own universes. One far-flung future that's a big fan of Peter Parker, so much so that he like he made his own like AI assistant thing that full on Tony Stark's his stuff. So he doesn't actually have spider sense. He just has an AI like assistant warning him on stuff. And then you have Noir.
Yeah,
Noir is just almost like a Spider-Man's attempt at Batmaning as far as like the brooding nature goes, but like in a slightly comical way.
very much.
And of course it's like noir dated, so it's all black and white. Sometimes he lets a match burn down to the finger just so he could feel things, just the funny stuff.
She walked into the room smelling of burnt cigarettes. I loved her. Oh, I love that gritty noir stuff. And the comics are actually like pretty solid.
But
Won't
yeah,
lie.
definitely. And the best way you can get the best of both worlds on that is by playing Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
Yep, Shattered Dimensions is the one.
It's like
The
one of the
noir is they're pretty fun. They're like all like stealthy. The
Mhm.
boss fights were kind of dumb, but
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's most any Spider-Man game. They have like hit or misses with boss fights.
hey, isn't it crazy like how many of the Spider-Man games have Mysterio as the main villain?
Whenever you have someone who can quote unquote materialize the craziest of stuff all around you, it makes for a great video game.
It's he's just all he's just such a go-to.
I mean, Spider-Man 2 is the first example of Mysterio being a main villain through the story where he literally takes over the Statue of Liberty as like a giant Mysterio.
It's just a big old bobblehead. Then there's Mysterio's Revenge, and then there's Shattered Dimensions. There's Friend or Foe.
Yep, Shattered Dimension specifically for the console, but also for the DS, I believe.
Yeah, that was like a whole different story, wasn't it?
Yeah, it even took away the symbiote Spider-Man, so it was just modern noir and 2099. So
Was
it was like
it
a
was
different
that old
story, but it
Ultimate?
had the
Ultimate
best.
was the other one. Okay,
Yeah, because
I had to think about it for a second because nowadays when I hear Ultimate Spider-Man, I think of that kind of like really really not great Marvel show that they ended Spectacular Spider-Man for.
yeah, I don't know why they did that. Spectacular Spider-Man was a great show.
It deserved more. It deserved better.
It was the one that I wasn't
Ah,
wasn't Spectacular Spider-Man the one that I mentioned with like Drake Bell voicing it,
I think so.
because like they had a lot of interesting concepts. Like they brought in Anti-Venom and showed Carnage being taking over like Mary Jane and stuff.
Yeah, that had that cool stuff, but also just had like, hey, the Spider-Men are just Power Rangers,
Essentially, yeah,
and it's
like they just had
and
like a
it's
whole
like
Spidey squad.
every episode. Like the cool thing about Spider Verse is that it's like a cake or a brownie, where you get to enjoy it, and it's super sweet and it's great, and then you kind of forget about it for a while.
Right? Like it's one of those things where you can binge it, but whenever you do binge it, you actually don't get that tired of it. Some things, whenever you try to binge properties and stuff, you either get so sick of it that you don't want to see any more of it, or you just finish it and then you just are feeling fulfilled, and everything else about it is just meh. Spider-Man is one of those
Just
things
meh.
where there's so many avenues, so many different ways to take it, different iterations, the shows, the movies, the games, the comics, everything about it is just there's so many that is something out there for everyone, literally.
Exactly. Let's see. Well, let us get to a really tough question because, like, I'm not even sure I have like a good way to answer this. If somebody want to get started reading like the Spider-Man comics, where's a good place to start?
So when it comes to starting off the Spider-Man series, obviously you're gonna have to look and see like the different ones there are because obviously they reset the universe so many times, so each time it's like Amazing Spider-Man, but then they could reset the universe and then it'll be something like the Spectacular Spider-Man or the Ultimate Spider-Man and all that good stuff. The go-to that I would say is honestly the Amazing Spider-Man, just the ones with the web wings and everything. That's like the best one to start with, in my opinion. Just like
Hmm?
it's not the
You recommend
OG OG,
like a good like starting point place wise or?
like universally, honestly, because it has a good way of setting out the foundations for everything that you see later on, like literally like the image that you have in the in between us right now. Like that iteration of Spider-Man is the best one to start with
Okay.
because again, it goes over all the different facets of the character, the antagonist that he's known for, introducing characters that you later will learn to love or hate or both somehow. As a Sonic fan, I can do both. But there's also like as you read it and everything, it builds up to eventually whenever you do finish reading the Amazing series and you want more Spider-Man, there's plenty out there. Then after you finish the Amazing Spider-Man, then you'll want to maybe see about the Clone Saga stuff, like you said. There's a bunch of other things that you can look into. I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to where to start with Spider-Man. It's really just a matter of what your preference is. Do you want to see him develop the from the photographer that he was at the early stuff, the not so confident person still learning his way around? Do you want to see him where he's already established but going through a lot of hardships in his life and how he goes over them? Or do you just want to have a good time and just turn your brain off to some random bits of craziness going on? There's a lot of different places to start with. It's really just a matter of personal preference.
I say big time. I don't know why. The big time is just like a very just kind of like chill, like, hey, this is Spider-Man doing science stuff, and he just fights like a good helping of villains during that time. And it does have a lot of stuff that you can enjoy more if you know a lot more of that older stuff. Um, but it's just sometimes it's just difficult. It's just difficult finding a good starting place. So I say like big time or
Okay, here.
I like this. I like this Straczynski era, but I don't know if that's a good start point. Like maybe that'd be a good like secondary point.
Okay, well,
Some
here's
people say
four.
Brand New Day is an okay starting point.
Here's
I'm
four answers
50-50
for
on
you.
that.
As far as like reading Spider-Man, here's four answers for you. For those that want to know about the character, start with Amazing. For those of you who want to turn your brain off and just go ooh flashy lights, go with the Big Time. If you want to see a interesting take on the character before you actually learn who he is and stuff, like as far as you just want to see him, but you don't want to see how he goes about his daily stuff, then go for like the Secret Wars arc. And if you just want
Oh,
to
just
see,
start with Superior. Just go ahead and start with Superior. Don't start with Superior. That's a joke. It's
start with start with Ben Riley. Just start with the not
oh, there we
Spider-Man.
go.
You want
Yeah.
you want to read Spider-Man? Start with the not Spider-Man.
Every issue is like, I know I'm not the real Spider-Man, but can I
But
be Spider-Man? The answer is yes. Just do it.
like I'm not the real Spider-Man, but if I was the real Spider-Man, this is what I'd do.
Like, ah, god damn it.
Basically, yeah.
Just do it. Just fucking do it.
It's like just throw in that Shia LaBeouf just do it thing.
It's perfect. Let's see.
Don't let your memes
Oh,
be dreams.
don't let them be dreams. Give me just one moment. My desktop in the background crashed, so I lost view of the chat.
Oh, no.
Let me see. Okay, there we go. Okay. If anyone watching had any questions for me or Adara, please go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will be happy to answer them.
There is nothing that I am opposed to answering within reason.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Somewhat, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, definitely, sort of, maybe not really. Excuse you. That was my partner, Vanna. She sneezed.
Oh, yeah. No, I heard it, but then I thought I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, she's got headphones on watching YouTube and stuff in the background on the other computer, and as she sneezed, I looked over to, say bless you, and she's just got this, like, sympathetic face, like, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Let's see.
She knows how excited I was for this whole thing that we're doing right now, so she's...
Heck yeah.
She felt a little bad about the sneezes, but it's okay.
Oh, no, please. Sneezes and burps are life.
Right? It's proof of life.
Let's see. What are maybe like some things you'd like to see going forward with the comics?
Well, returning to actual storytelling that matters about building up a character would be one thing I would like to see. There's too many times where people, or not people, but whenever the characters are just brought in and we're told how we're supposed to think and feel, as opposed to just having the story told about so that we can learn how to think and feel about them on their own. I mean, a prime example is how often Captain Marvel has failed over and over again as far as comic book series goes. They keep telling us how to feel for the character or how to think of them or anything of that. One thing Spider-Man's always done is just, he's always been the character where, like, you root for him, not because he tells you that you want to root for him, but because he shows that you should root for him. Like, he proves himself. I would like to see more.
There was that time they wrote Captain Marvel like she was a bad guy.
You mean normal?
Which turned a lot of people off.
That was God, what was that? That was
Civil War II.
Yeah.
That was so bad. That was so bad.
Yeah, she was gunning after Miles Morales because of that one mutant that saw the future.
That one mutant that was totally a racist.
Oh, yeah.
No one said he was a racist, but as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh man, this kid's probably gonna be like a racist.
Right? Like, why couldn't they have done this anyone, literally anyone else they could have said was the one that he saw killing that one person? But no, it was Captain America.
It had to have been the black guy. Oh yeah, Captain America.
Like, it was like, oh, I saw Miles Morales as Spider-Man killing Captain America. So, I mean, bad things happen there. But no, you literally could have done anyone else. But Miles,
and it's funny, at that time it was evil Captain America, so he was like, okay, good, I'm gonna get my comeuppance. Well, I had a good run. Yeah. He was totally down for it too.
Right? And the worst thing about that whole thing was that was back when Miles was still new to being Spider-Man. Like, it was still his early
Yeah, that was
years.
Like his first year of 616 universe. Like,
so they just really were just trying to, like, they were really trying to have you root for Miles, which, I mean, again, just show us the character, show us the hardships, how he develops and stuff, and we'll root for him. You don't need to tell us, we'll root for him.
I love Miles.
Oh yeah, Miles is a great
in the comics he goes through a lot of shit.
Yeah, like Venom killing his mom.
Oh yeah, well also recently he was like captured by this weird like science building and like tortured for like a week.
That I have not
read. And then they made clones of him.
Of course.
But they were like symbiote, but they were like symbiote clons.
Of course they made clones of him.
Yeah.
They're at the point where they run out of ideas. Oh no.
Ghost Spider is getting a clone saga right now.
Of course she is. We're gonna have an entire multiverse of Spider-Gwens.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for they're gonna make it to where Spider-Gwen is the
Actually wait, that already happened. That was already an arc.
Oh yeah.
There was some evil like robot lady who wanted to be like the most influencer number person ever, like throughout the multiverse. So she basically sacrificed all of her followers to like make this spell.
Sounds
to basically give herself a
like
multiverse.
Person from the Marvel Spider-Man game that's like got a bunch of followers and stuff and everything.
Yeah. Anyway, the spell like backfired and it somehow like hit Gwen. So there was like a Wolverine Gwen and a Thor Gwen and Oh man, that
We
was
have
so
to make
dumb.
it fair for everyone, so we need to have a multiverse of female Spider-Man now. It's only fair, ignoring the fact that we already have a female Spider-Man universe where it's I think it's like Patricia Parker or something.
There's a couple, but like all those universe also have their own Jessica Drews. They also have their own Cindy Moon, Silk. They
I
have their own Aranyas.
always thought it was kind of weird that in other universes sometimes like the only thing that changes is just the main Spider-Man or whatever. That's the only change, and everything else is borderline the same.
I like how in well, I think it's Ghost Spider's universe, like Jessica Drew is a guy.
If I remember right, in Miles Morales' universe, Gwen Stacy is Deadpool.
No, almost.
I forgot where it was, but I've seen a lot of things that has Miles Morales and like
Yeah, Miles' original universe there was a Deadpool, but he was just like a guy that was like like in like an accident that involved mutants, and then he was sent to Mojo's Island to go kill everyone. Like it was a really early Ultimate Spider-Man arc where Spider-Man was dating Kitty Pryde.
okay, yeah, that's why I didn't read that.
Yeah, no, it was like early 2000s or something like that back when that happened. Gwen Pools is now a mutant, but originally she was a character that just fell into a comic book world being super self-aware.
Yeah, I can see that. That
And then they made her a mutant because
reasons.
she was well, she was worried that her character didn't have anywhere else to go, so she had this whole arc where she was going into other people's stories trying to like see if she could like sidearm herself into a position there. Otherwise, she knew she'd get written out forever.
It
And then
almost
at the
sounds like
end,
she
the
was already
author,
superpowered, having the ability to
yeah, well,
jump around different universes.
yeah, I mean, well, different stories. She's like a fourth wall breaker. Okay, my desktop just crashed again. That's not good. Um, that we're about done here, so that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's got one of those like weird like reality kind of like acknowledging powers. It's kind of dumb, but yeah, the author felt bad, so just made her a mutant, and she went to Krakoa,
as you do, as you do.
as you do. Yeah,
Sometimes you
but
need.
Adara, please let everyone know what you've got coming as far as your streams.
So I was actually supposed to start yesterday, but I was just my sleep schedule's non-existent, and I ended up sleeping through it. That's fine though. So tomorrow I'm supposed to be. I might do two. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm supposed to be picking up on. Where's my schedule? I have a schedule. I totally made one. Do, 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 do. Cult of the Lamb, hard mode.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's been one of my longest running series because on hard mode you start off with just one heart, so two hits and you're dead. And that's my and
Oof.
it's a blind playthrough I've never played before, so I've I've sunk hours into this game and still hadn't beat it. But I'm gonna be continuing that tomorrow, and then after that, on I think it was Sunday, I've got Banjo Tooie. But the big thing that I'm working
Hey.
on is after I'm done with these three games that I hadn't finished yet, that being those two and Super Mario Odyssey, I am going to be doing my biggest challenge yet, which is tackling Final Fantasies 15 and 7 remake and doing every single thing that I can in them, side missions, stories,
Ooh,
everything.
15 Royal is going to be a big task.
hmm I'm going to.
7R, it's as long as you're not doing hard mode, unless you're talking about also doing hard mode.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah.
Just all the side quests, get all the special summons,
Right,
do
right,
all
right.
the training room stuff. Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to try my best to comb everywhere on 15, and I'm not doing fast travel. They gave me a car in Final Fantasy 15. I'm going to use it.
Yeah. After 20 hours, you're more than welcome to use the fast travel.
I think that I may have a personal thing where once I get to, because there's this one other city area that you're trying to get to. So once I get there, then I may see about starting fast travel. But I don't know. I have not beaten 15. I've played some of it on PS4, but I never actually beat it.
Okay.
So now I have it on Windows, and I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, go for it. It's a fun time. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy, but it's a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you just said, it's not my favorite. If I had to choose a favorite, then it would either be 10 or 12 personally, just because
Those are
the
good ones.
music, the direction, everything about them.
Yeah, mine would be 4. So,
it'll be a challenge itself just to beat a Final Fantasy game because I've never beaten one. Closest I've ever gotten was to beating was Final Fantasy 14, and that's an online game.
Yeah, that's a mood. I beat it. Oh, there's more content. I beat it. Oh, there's more content. I beat it. Now I have to wait for more content. Damn it.
I have an addiction to that game. I'm not even joking. I play it all the time.
It's addictive. It's an addictive game.
I play it all the time. It's crippling. I swear.
Well, thank you so much for stopping on to the stream and hanging out and getting to chat comics with me. It was a ton of fun.
Thank you for having me.
Originally, I was going to have start straight up into the Sly Cooper for Thieves in Time, but because I'm having issues with my desktop, I may have to cancel it. So, sorry everyone. I'll have updates on my Twitter once I get everything fixed.
Friends and fans will understand.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the streaming is the scuff. So much scuff.
Well, I mean, if everything worked perfectly, then would we even be streamers? I mean, part of being a streamer is having to deal with those problems that come up here and there.
I would be very glad if that part would be foregone from the actual process.
If I had $1 for every time that I wish that didn't happen, I would be rich. I wouldn't need to worry about affiliate. I would just be rolling in it.
All right, thank you everyone for coming by. You'll have a lovely day. Bye, Q.